really quickly before we get into today's video, which is going to be the Vi versus Yang, or Yang versus Vi, whatever you prefer. I want to make a little correction that I told Jenny. I was like, did I really just do that? I'm a huge fan of RWBY, and I kept on saying semblance when what I meant was aura. And what I mean is when I talk about how Yang has like a shield around herself and I say semblance, it's actually the aura. Think of it like an HP bar. Like the more that she takes from an opponent, it keeps on depleting, and that is the aura. A semblance, on the other hand, is unique to the individual characters of RWBY, so the entire team of RWBY has them, and other characters in the show do. We do talk a little bit about that, because hers kind of works interestingly. You can kind of think about it with her aura because of how it works. However, it's her aura that I'm talking about, and not her semblance. I was joking and saying that maybe I should make like a counter of how many times I say semblance instead of aura, and I might do that in the future. But as always, thank you. We really do appreciate you all for watching. We had a lot of fun making this video, and stay tuned because here it comes now.
Hello my people, how's it going? I'm Jenny.
KB here.
And today we have a video topic that's been super highly requested, and that is to do with a character from Arcane and a character from RWBY, the show RWBY. Yes! And today we're specifically talking about the character Vi from Arcane and what it would be like if she had a showdown with the character Yang on her shirt from the show RWBY. Yes, and it seems like there's a lot of crossover in fandom, so a lot of people like to draw these comparisons, and you have been a fan of RWBY since I met you, which is a long time ago.
Well, I've been a fan of RWBY since it was actually a thing.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since there's like, what now, 8 seasons, so.
Yeah, and I've watched some of it. I haven't watched all of it, but she got me to watch some of it with her. How far into it did I watch?
You got up to, well, in all fairness, when you stopped watching it, that was over time.
It was
got you to, I think it was season 5.
Okay.
So you still need to get 6 and 7, which we can easily do.
Yeah, yep. But you are a lot more educated on all of the specifics of the characters and their abilities and everything than I am. I watch stuff just to geek out and like, oh my god, it looks so cool. But you're like, oh yeah, this person has this ability, this person has this ability.
It's true.
So we're gonna rely a lot on you when it comes to really getting down to it and what abilities Yang would have. And there are 2 criteria that I wanted us to use for this comparison, and the first one is who would win in a fist fight, a physical fight. I mean, it can also include more than just fists, but as you mentioned, they're both brawlers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so that in and of itself is interesting to think about. And then who would win in a battle of wit?
That one will be interesting.
Yeah. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about what each of them have to bring to a fight.
Okay, so first and foremost, they're both brawlers.
Mm-hmm.
They both have their own kind of weapons. Vi does have those big-ass Hex Tech gauntlets.
Yeah.
However, Yang has her gauntlets, which is, I believe it's Ember, Cecile, or Cecily. And the cool thing about Yang's weapon, though, is it also acts as a gun. She has bullets. And what else is she has her other arm, which, when she's not using one gauntlet, also has a gun.
Uh-huh, okay.
Because of what happens to her. I won't spoil too much of it. So that's kind of interesting. In terms of, Yang is actually taller than Vi. I don't know if that is an advantage or a disadvantage.
How tall is she?
Oh, gosh, I think she's like almost 6 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure how tall Vi is. We know Caitlyn is taller than her.
Yeah.
We have to kind of like height chat. Like,
I think
who's
she's
taller.
I think she's like 5'11" though. She's pretty tall.
I need to. How tall? Can you look on your phone?
Yeah, let me look on my
Let's see
phone.
how
You
tall
can
it
keep
is.
sharing. You can keep sharing.
Yeah. So that could be an advantage for Vi. One other thing though about Yang.
Oh, Vi is 5'7".
Okay, so then Yang is. Let's see how tall Yang is.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's not actually short. People said she was shorter than that, but apparently she's not. Let's see how tall Yang is. Survey says.
She's 5'8". She's
Really?
just 1 inch taller.
So how tall is Caitlyn?
Caitlyn is at least 6 feet.
I thought Yang was 6 feet. Okay, so there's really not that big of a difference in height. Okay, I retract that statement.
Yeah.
But the thing about, they've both been fighting since they were young, which is true. However, Yang has gone through a lot of yanks, let's say. Not to say that Vi hasn't her own angst, but like, they both got PTSD. But if we talk about their abilities, they're both brawlers, they both have weapons. One thing that Yang has over Vi is her semblance. In the world of RWBY, everyone pretty much has a semblance. Think of it as like a barrier, right? So if you have like a barrier bar and you keep on like duking it out, eventually that barrier bar goes down and then it breaks off and it shatters. The thing about Yang's semblance, though, is the more you hit her, the stronger she gets, and it just keeps on loading and loading and loading, and then just boom! This massive, like, power of her. I'm being rearranged.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you would literally have to strip away the semblance. Because I don't think in a fair fight, with them both using everything they have at their disposal, Vi has a chance. Because you gotta break her semblance. I mean, Vi is extremely strong. And I don't really know how, like, long the Yang semblance lasts. When they were in the tournament, and I think it was the 3rd season, they did have, like, a semblance bar, but I don't know how, like, percentage-wise, how much she has, like, 100%, like, how much her fist can take it down. So if you strip away that, there'll be more an even playing field. But do you take away Yang's bullets? I know Vi has her barrier shield, but how often can she use that? I don't know.
We don't, and even she doesn't know yet in the show.
She doesn't. She's extremely surprised.
Yeah, when she
She's
saw
like,
that come out, she's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool.
This is awesome."
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And how does the hex tech barrier work exactly? Right? We don't really know.
Yeah.
So
as of yet. So
as of yet,
it seems like she might develop yet further
She could.
as a fighter with those gauntlets. But we do know from Vi that we watch her fighting person after person when she's young, and we see her getting tired over time.
She gets exhausted.
Even in the fight with Savika, when she goes over and takes a
I love
drink and
that
then throws
part.
it, you know, it does seem like she tires out.
She does tire out, and that's a thing too. I don't know how long it takes for Yang to really get tired, because if she doesn't have her semblance anymore, it does, like I say, shatter, and she does, like, she's pretty hurt at that point. So then she's extremely vulnerable. But I don't know, because, like, the thing about Yang is she's gone through some serious stuff, just like Vi has, but she used to go in, like, she used to be like Vi a lot before, where she wouldn't think she'd keep on going. Now she thinks tactically.
Oh.
So that's why I'm thinking the Yang now probably has a better chance. The Yang in Beacon time period probably is pretty even with Vi.
So I think that's important to mention, because we only have season 1 of Arcane. However, Arcane episodes are longer than RWBY episodes. But but I think that Vi has a lot of room to develop and grow as a fighter over time. I think she'll learn a lot from Caitlyn too. Since they have different techniques, I think that she'll learn some of the kind of planning and the long range techniques a little bit from Caitlyn and work with her better.
Definitely. But the really cool thing about to Yang as well is that she did learn, right? There's a scene where there's something that sort of replicates what happened to her before, which causes her incident to happen. And she just does this really cool move where she takes her arm and she shoots it up and she flips over.
Oh.
So she learns.
Okay.
And one of her quotes, she says, "I may not be stronger, but I'm smarter."
Oh.
So even if Vi is stronger, Yang is smart. A lot of people say she's not because, you know, typical blonde jokes. But, yeah, so I don't know. You really, in my opinion, for them to be on an even playing ground, you have to take away a semblance.
Okay.
There's just no way. And in the same thing, you have to take away Vi's barrier.
Okay.
Because that's a barrier for her. So, yeah, it'd be really interesting. I would love to see that. There's, I don't think they would, maybe they would do it. There's, I think it's called, like, Death Battle or something like that, where sometimes they will take, like, characters of RWBY and let's say they took, like, Tomb Raider and they'll face off.
Oh, cool.
Maybe they will do Yang versus Vi, since they're very similar in a lot of ways, especially in their personality. They're both hot-headed, although Yang has gotten less hot-headed, which is interesting to see.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say this, I love Vi, but in all honesty, I really think Yang could take her.
Okay, alright.
What about, I know you don't have as much experience with RWBY, and I know you're like a Vi fan, but what do you think from what you've seen of Yang?
I don't know. Let's go with yours. Okay. So let's talk now about...
for Yang.
Yeah, 1 point for Yang. Let's talk about a battle of wit. So, they have 2 seemingly different approaches to using their wit. Vi tends to be very sarcastic, which and you're the one who mentioned this to me, that she learned it from Vander, because you hear Vander's sarcasm and later.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
What a big head.
Do I? He goes, get your big head out. I think it was get your big head out of here or something like that. Or I don't remember.
And he looks at Benzo and he says, "Do I have a big head?" It's just so funny.
Just past the average.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you hear Vi. She has that same kind of.
Oh, in the prison scene.
Sarcasm.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, she goes.
My sunny personality.
Yeah, Caitlin goes, "What are you here for?" And she goes, "Yeah, my sunny personality." She's like has all the sarcasm.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I think it's interesting that we have you doing this because I think you have both. You have the puns, which Yang is known for the puns.
Oh my god, there's so many puns. The thing about Yang, when she, like, you first get to know her, and when she did her first pun, I'm like, I'm gonna really like this character.
Yeah, and then you also have sarcasm, so you have
I
both.
do.
So it's so it's nice that we have you who has an appreciation for both of these approaches to humor, to see what you think about Vi versus Yang.
Well, first of all, I want Vi to do a pun. I
Yeah.
don't know if she ever will because she's a lot more serious. Although
Right.
Yang does have her serious moments too, especially what happens to her in the end of season. I think it's either 2 or no, I think it's 3. Season 3. More of a dark term, which is where the Yangst comes into play. That's actually obviously they call it Yanks because it's Yang and Angst, so that's already a pun. But the thing is that just let it happen.
No, I'm taking you off of here because it shakes the camera.
It still shakes. See,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously we've got sarcastic Vi, and we've got sarcastic at times, but more punny Yang.
So, do you think like one of them has a darker sense of humor? Probably Vi would.
So you would say that depending on what version of Yang you're talking about, though, because
Okay.
you have like Beacon Yang, and then you have post Beacon Yang, and she gets really dark.
Oh.
But now she's like not. So if we take current Yang and we take Vi right now, I think probably Vi at the present moment would have a darker. Because
What darker sense of
what
humor?
happened at the end of freaking season 1? I mean,
Yeah.
so much darkness in general.
Is this a coping mechanism?
Yeah. Is this coping? But yeah.
We always do that compared to like the little butterfly meme where
It's
they're like,
the
"Is this a
best.
butterfly?"
It's the best.
So you'll see us do stuff like that all the time. Like, is this a coping mechanism?
Is this? Is this that?
Is this a fight between Yang and Vi?
I would love to see that. I think they would circle each other though. Like, you know, I think
Yeah.
honestly Yang would definitely make some puns because she loves to get a reaction. That's why people do puns. We want a reaction even if you're frowning. We don't care. We think it's great. But if I was to have someone do a pun at me and I was feeling sarcastic back and forth, it would be really cool to see.
So you think they'd ping pong really well?
I think they
So you-
would. I think they'd also get along really well too.
Yeah, that's cool. So you think they're maybe a little even? Maybe they'd break even?
They could. They could in this
Yeah.
respect.
I think that too. I think that they would have like really great banter between the two of them. Yeah, and feed off of each other
And they've
really
both
well.
got amazing partners.
Yeah.
Which are both like nerds and stuff, you know? So,
That's true.
yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting. Blake versus Caitlin.
Oh.
Oh. But yeah, I really think in that one they're gonna be even.
Okay.
But I really just think the back and forth. It would be so fun to watch, to be honest. I would just be like, this is a great time. Let's go get some popcorn.
Right. Yay. Well, there you have it. So 1 point to Yang, and even for in terms of wit. So I think Yang wins this fight.
I mean,
Round 1 to Yang.
like, honestly, I really just feel like she would. As much as I really like Vi, and Vi is very strong, she gets exhausted. Not to say Yang doesn't get exhausted, but it takes a lot. Especially if you got her semblance, I believe that's like, it's game over. Because everyone's got different semblances.
Yeah.
It's just, hers just makes her stronger every time she gets hit. So just imagine, like, just taking hits, you're absorbing all of that and just letting that go. Yeah, she probably would wreck her.
And that's kind of how Vi fights is hitting.
Yeah, pretty much. She doesn't really think much about it, and you know? So, like I said, for it to be a fair fight, semblances would not have to be around. But it would be really cool. But that's okay, Vi. You're still awesome, even if you can't take down Yang.
Yes. Alright.
But yeah, if any of you like have anything to say about it, you disagree with me, I don't really mind. Just let me know, because I'd like to see who do you think would win,
Yeah.
Vi or Yang, and why.
Yeah, on both of these.
And we will definitely do at some point in the foreseeable future a Caitlin versus Blake now, because I'm really curious to what
Oh,
you have to say about that.
Ah, alright. Well, thanks y'all so much for watching, and something super exciting that we have planned We're so close. We're at 55 subscribers. And once we hit 60, we're planning to do a 60-minute live stream to chat with all of you in celebration. So if you'd like to keep in touch with us, we'd totally love that. So please subscribe, and we look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Sending so much love. Till next time.
Latest.